Alright, quick update on Bitcoin. So it looks like the Pi cycle bottom indicator has flashed. I shared this about 8 hours ago over on Twitter, so as you can see this did cross about 8 hours or so ago. If I do zoom in on the daily time frame, you can see this is basically where the 150 EMA, which is this green line over here, crosses below the 471 simple moving average. Now, what's interesting about this, if we do go over to the all-time index for Bitcoin, this has basically called the 2018 bear market low down here. It has also called the 2015 bear market low down here. So in my opinion, what to expect from this, I do think this is mid to long term bullish. I do not think this is going to call the exact bottom of this cycle. I think we do need to put things into perspective. You know, the economy, the state of the markets is in a completely different state than previous bear markets. And while I would love to sit here and say every 4-year every 4-year cycle is going to play out to the teeth, Pi cycle will call the top, Pi cycle will call the bottom. We do need to once again take it with a grain of salt. These are simply two moving averages that are crossing. These cannot take into account, you know, the fact that we could be entering a recession right now. So, you know, the Pi cycle bottom, it is not magic. It is where the 150 EMA crosses below the 471 SMA, and subsequently we do need to take it with a grain of salt, but nonetheless, in the mid to long term, this will be relatively bullish in my opinion. Now, what's also interesting about this, I'll talk about the fractal in just 1 second, a quick update on this. On the lower time frames, like the 1 hour, you can see that we have had a healthy influx of volume. Once again, this is, you know, nothing crazy, not volume to get out of bed for necessarily, because, you know, also bear in mind, we had much higher volume than this when we were approaching our top than we do when we're down here after a massive cascade to the downside. Now, if we quickly update the fractal that we've been talking about, it looks like we might actually be primed for that bounce on Wednesday like we originally talked about. Now, if you are a seasoned veteran of my channel and you do watch my videos, you would have known that I've been talking about this fractal for quite some time now, and initially, as you can see, cascade into a bearish pennant, or if you don't want to talk about the cascade, let's just talk about the asymmetrical triangle. Asymmetrical triangle, and you basically take ages to get to the apex of this. You break to the upside, find an invalidation point, break to the upside, find an invalidation point, have a brutal landslide all the way back down to support, brutal landslide all the way back down to support, and then as you can see, we bounce up to the upside. Everyone once again gets out of bed. We create an M pattern breakdown, and then you take the next leg to the downside. And if we look at what we've got going on here, you know, we've already found the invalidation point, we've come down, back tested support very brutally on the daily. We might be primed for a move back up to potentially 21,000. I find it hard to believe that we could get much further than 21,000. If we go on the daily time frame and look at the EMA ribbons, you can actually see 20,900 is where the 21 EMA is going to be residing within this EMA ribbon. So in my opinion, it's definitely likely we could see something like this before the next leg to the downside. You know, bear in mind, we actually got about 4 moving averages through on the second attempt, so, you know, don't be surprised if we do push up to 21,000, potentially 21,700. As long as we're creating a lower high formation, as long as this ends up emming out, then you could definitely see that next massive leg to the downside, and this is personally what I'm betting for over on Bitcoin. So that's all I've got for you today. I would also like to state, I basically saw the Pi cycle bottom flash while I was in bed about to go to sleep, so if you do want updates, you know, in a timely fashion before I do post them on my YouTube, be sure to head over to my Twitter. It is at 618_cowboy. So all I've got for you today, my friends. I'll keep you updated on everything that's going to play out with the CPI report later on today. Yeah, cowboy out. Peace.